The story of Béla Kiss resembles a tale straight out of a horror film. This Hungarian citizen from the 20th century is believed to have killed up to 24 young women and kept their remains in large metal barrels. While his motives remain somewhat obscure, numerous stories have emerged around this peculiar figure. Was he a vampire, feeding off his victims? What other nefarious motives drove him to kill time and again? More intriguingly, what ultimately became of him? Béla Kiss's story is intertwined with World War I. Born in 1877, there is no evidence from his early life that foreshadowed the killer he would become. His crimes only began in his 40s. According to records, he was an amateur astrologer and seemed to be a pleasant person to interact with at the time. Apparent signs pointed to him being intelligent and devout, with a deeply troubled psychological nature that remained largely hidden for many years. Kiss led an ordinary life as a blacksmith in Cincotta, near Budapest, Hungary, until his horrific actions revealed a cruel character lurking beneath the surface. Perhaps there were indicators that investigators overlooked. Kiss was also known for his interest in the supernatural and astrology. It is possible that many of the crimes he committed were related to these interests. He resided in Cincotta at the beginning of the 20th century, and around 1912, he hired a maid named Mrs. Jacoby. It was during this time that Kiss began to meet and interact with several young women who would occasionally visit his home. Many suspect that some of these women were among Kiss's early victims. Although Mrs. Jacoby worked in his home, she did not see any of these women for an extended period. However, she and several other visitors noticed a number of metal barrels that Kiss had begun to store in his home. These barrels raised questions from the city police. Upon questioning, Béla Kiss explained that the barrels were for storing gasoline, as he was preparing for an impending war that he believed was unavoidable. With the approach of World War I, Kiss's deceit went largely unchallenged. However, during the war, Kiss was called into service, leaving his home in the care of his maid, along with the barrels. In July 1916, the Budapest police received a call from a property owner in Cincotta regarding these metal barrels. Since Kiss was unavailable to answer questions, the police opened the 7 barrels, despite Mrs. Jacoby's protests, believing them to contain gasoline that they needed. What they discovered was beyond imagination. Initially, a foul, ancient stench emerged from the barrels, and upon fully opening one of them, the police found the body of a woman. Similar bodies in various states of decay were discovered in the remaining barrels. A more thorough search of Kiss's home revealed a total of around 24 women's bodies. Though it was clear that Kiss had committed these serial murders, Mrs. Jacoby insisted she knew nothing about it and was not involved. It appeared that Kiss had begun his series of crimes years prior, and his maid was unaware of the situation. She also reported that Kiss had mentioned a particular secret room in the house that Mrs. Jacoby was not permitted to enter. When the police broke into this secret room, they found Kiss's horrifying stash, with books on poisoning and strangulation, along with correspondence indicating he was in touch with no fewer than 74 women. Kiss had no trouble attracting women. He was described as handsome and tall, and some found him charming. He was wealthy, often hosting lavish parties and social gatherings. However, as police tracked his activities over the years, it became apparent that his strange methods began early in the 20th century. He often pretended to be a wealthy widower and placed advertisements in newspapers stating that he was looking to remarry. His attraction to crime became evident from the beginning as he corresponded with several women, deceiving them and stealing their money. Even though he robbed them, his murderous tendencies did not emerge until he married a young girl named Maria. Shortly after their marriage in 1912, Maria began an affair with a young artist named Peccari. In 1912, both Peccari and Maria disappeared, with Kiss claiming that the lovers had fled to America. However, subsequent investigations revealed that they were Kiss's first victims. Following the murders of his wife and her lover, Kiss embarked on a series of crimes, continuing to lure young women under false pretenses, deceiving them before killing them, either with his bare hands or by strangulation. He also attempted to poison unsuspecting victims. As a serial killer, Kiss tried to preserve the bodies of his victims as trophies. He often drained the blood from the corpses to prevent decomposition, earning him the title of the Vampire of Cincotta. He kept methanol in large steel barrels and stored the bodies in alcohol to delay the process of decay. These ghastly trophies, combined with Kiss's alluring charm towards women, led to an increase in vampire rumors. Was Kiss somehow able to gain strength by killing these women? And where did all the blood from the bodies go? Once the police confirmed Kiss's crimes, they began a frantic search for the killer. However, capturing him amidst the chaos of the ongoing war proved highly difficult. The Budapest police warned the military and requested the armed forces apprehend the murderer. During this time, Kiss's whereabouts remained unknown, leading many to believe he was either a war prisoner or even dead. In 1914, police received reports of Béla Kiss recovering from a wound at a Serbian hospital. However, by the time an investigating officer arrived, he had already escaped, leaving behind the body of a dead soldier as a decoy on his bed. This was the last time anyone saw Béla Kiss. Over the years, police followed various leads in an attempt to track him down, but to no avail. There were numerous reported sightings of him as late as 1920 and 1932, but if those were genuine, he always seemed to be one step ahead and evaded capture. In the following years, claims of Kiss being sighted emerged, giving rise to rumors surrounding his potential fate. These rumors included stories of him being arrested and imprisoned for theft in Romania or dying from yellow fever in Turkey. In 1920, a soldier on a French foreign commission reported a man named Hoffman, which was one of the names Kiss used in some of his correspondence. This mysterious Hoffman boasted about his skills in using torture tools and matched Kiss's description. Unfortunately, Hoffman escaped before the police could arrive and investigate. The last possible sighting of Kiss occurred in New York in 1932. A criminal investigator named Henry Oswald believed he spotted Kiss emerging from a subway station in Times Square. There were also rumors that he was working as a janitor and managed to flee again before police could investigate, but these rumors were never confirmed, much like Kiss's entire story. The truth is that Kiss successfully evaded capture every time law enforcement came close to apprehending him. He appears to have lived for a long time after becoming a wanted man, and it is highly likely that the number of his victims far exceeds the 24 known. The fate of Béla Kiss, the bloodthirsty killer, remains a mystery. Where did he go? Did he kill again? And what about the vampire rumors that surround him? Although Béla Kiss is not a particularly well-known serial killer, his legend endures. He has inspired books, horror films, and even songs. If Kiss were alive today, he would be nearly 150 years old. Any mortal man would have long since died from old age if he were indeed human. Yet if he found a way to cheat death, could he still be alive somewhere in the world?